and welcome to one of my first live streams on this channel in Hollywood, California. That's right. And today we have for you my entire Mick Jagger collection. This thing took me a while because I have it all over the house in different places. And I've been thinking about doing this for a couple months, but I'm glad I waited because I think I found everything. So without any further ado, let's get started with the early stuff, right? Like, when did Mick Jagger's solo career get started? I'm gonna go back to 1970 right here. This is soundtrack for a movie that Mick Jagger was in called Performance. And he, even though he doesn't do the entire album, he's credited with a couple songs, notably "Memo from Turner." Hey, Carmela, you're there. Awesome. Thank you. You're always here. Thank you for supporting me, by the way. I hope you enjoy all these Mick Jagger albums. That's right. This one is the original soundtrack. I think Anita Pallenberg was in that one as well. She ended up marrying Mick Jagger. And another early Mick Jagger recording was one as he did as a solo artist. He did this one with a guy named John Lennon. That's right. It's called "Too Many Cooks Spoil the Soup." Somewhere in the early 70s. It's actually was just found. It was a rare album, a rare cut that was just floating around, collectors, and then they officially released it when this Mick Jagger CD DVD deluxe set came out. So you can actually hear what that sounds like. This is pretty cool because it has a lot of his songs, performances. There's even a performance from 1978 with Peter Tosh live with Mick Jagger on Saturday Night Live. A lot of really cool stuff here. So that's how it kind of got started. I believe it was the year 1985. Tensions were getting high with Mick and Keith. Remember that song "One Hit to the Body" and that whole video where they were just acting out their grudge match. And I think Mick Jagger felt that, he was the face of the Rolling Stones and he could go out and pack them in, big arenas. Now, I believe in, his in Japan in 1988, he did sell out a few arenas, but I think in America it was more like smaller clubs. And that comes from Aristotle's statement: the sum of the parts do not equal the whole. And even though I love Mick Jagger's solo stuff, somehow when you got someone who's associated with a band like the Rolling Stones, you know, even though he's so famous, he just doesn't sell the records that he would or get the concert attendance that he would have, especially in America and England, that he would have gotten with the Rolling Stones. So with that in mind, we're going to look through some of his albums. His first official solo album, I have a couple copies of it in different formats, so I pulled out every single format. This one is called "She's the Boss." I don't know if you remember that one. I like this one the best. This is my favorite Mick Jagger solo album, and it even has some guest appearances. I think Jeff Beck might play on one of these. I know he's definitely on another album, but it's a pretty cool album. It's kind of it's got a little 80s kind of music in it, the style. Here's a 12-inch single of "Just Another Night." That was the first single they released. And Mick, looks a little bored here, doesn't he? He's kind of yawning and taking it easy in a hotel room while I guess this is the cleaning lady here. She's cleaning up. So this spawned a movie, actually. And I put a picture of the DVD up. It's really hard to find the DVD because it really was only released on VHS. That's right. One of you commented that you still have the VHS. This one is a video store rental that they ended up selling. I think it was a good buy at $1.95, right? Um, Running out of luck. And let me show you this one. Here's the label for this. This one is really hard to find. And they do block out some of the songs. I guess they had some copyright issues. It looked like it was maybe a Japanese release, but good news. You've got all the songs coming in at the end, all the music videos, a lot of extras. So if you don't get all the songs in the movie, you just get mostly dialogue, you will catch all the songs later on, either live versions or music videos, and there's some interviews with him from this time period. So this is pretty cool stuff. It was filmed in Rio de Janeiro, and it was basically Mick Jagger getting abducted and trying to, get free. And there was a great scene when he's trying to convince some Brazilian merchants in a small market that he was famous, and they acted like they never heard of him. They only heard of Julio Iglesias. He actually had one of his albums, but they just didn't recognize him. They wouldn't let him use the phone either to call for help. It was kind of like a Gilligan's Island type of thing, Mick Jagger, will he ever get off the island and get back to his life of luxury? And interesting, the music again was from this album, She's the Boss. It was kind of like a long form music video with some dialogue. All right, so I'm going to try to stay in chronological order as much as I possibly can. Mick Jagger in 1985, he did Live Aid. There you go. This is the condensed version of it. This is the full release. This is out of print. I don't know why it's out of print, but it's one of the greatest lineups of any concert. This was at JFK and also simultaneously in Wembley. Took place on July 13th, 1985, Live Aid. And a lot of people were complaining that these don't really include all the songs. There was a lot more. Sometimes there were commercial interruptions. You didn't get to see all the songs. So that's why you got to go into the rare stuff here. And this has a Mick Jagger song called Lonely at the Top. That's also from She's the Boss. And really cool, it's the unreleased Live Aid. There it is. It's on 2 discs. Oh, thank you for sharing my link, Carmela. You're so supportive. It means so much to me. Thank you. You were with me the whole trip. In London, and now you're supporting this channel. I really appreciate it. It's kind of like starting over again, because I had so many subscribers and views on DJ Gerry, but this channel is going to be me coming out from behind the camera a little bit, talking about rock locations, history, rare music, all sorts of things. So this is Live Aid from 1985, The Missing Tracks. There's 3 DVDs. Wow, 3 of them. And so there's a lot of missing tracks here. And the one of note that I wanted to, again, tell you about was Lonely at the Top from the Mick Jagger album called She's the Boss. She's the Boss. All right. Now, let's get to his second official solo album, which I have right up here. It's called Primitive Cool. I was expecting a better cover than that. Let me give you. I did like the album. I bought, I bought it in just about every format, vinyl and CD and cassette. But it kind of looks like Mr. Spock or something as a devil. Look at that primitive cool. I don't know. I thought maybe a little better artwork. It's just like black and white sketch. It's kind of dark. It's the devil. Um, El Diablo. I don't know. It's like. Anyway, it has some cool songs. It has a song called "Throwaway." Right. There's the single for it, "Throwaway." Mick Jagger. I believe this one for sure. And don't quote me, but I believe Jeff Beck played on this, and they got together, did a little show in Hollywood at a small club. Might have been the Whiskey or one of those. So it's pretty cool, Throwaway. All right. Again, I think this would have been a cooler album cover. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of this. Mom, I bought the Devil album. I don't know. Will you get it for me on every format, please? Anyway, there was I think the main song from that album was called "Let's Work." Do you remember that video of Mick Jagger just like running on a green screen or something, like on a freeway or something? Let's Work. I think this is a scene from the music video. Let's Work. There he is, Mick Jagger. This one's again is a 12-inch single. So anyway, I remember watching the music video back in the 80s, and it was kind of interesting. Speaking of rare recordings, Mick Jagger did a solo blues album. Did you know that? I believe this was in the early 90s. Had to get 2 copies of it. I don't know why. You just don't see it around. When you see it, you just buy it. Nature of the Gang. It's a rare collection of fiery blues covers recorded live in the studio. So it's pretty good sound. It's like a studio recording. And it has songs like Blues with a Feeling, I Got My Eyes on You, Still a Fool, Checking Up on My Baby, One Way Out. I don't know, some of them are the same takes, different versions of the same songs, but it's one CD. Here it is, Mick Jagger, Nature of My Game. Look how fancy this label is, right? And it's kind of cool. It's just real bluesy. I would say it's similar to the Rolling Stones blues album. Here's another label, The Nature of My Game. That's a quote from one of my favorite Rolling Stones songs called Sympathy for the Devil. All right. So I mentioned earlier that Mick Jagger did a series of pretty successful concerts in Japan during his solo career. This one's from 1988. I remember seeing a LA Times article reviewing his concert, saying that he was missing something, and I think what he was missing was the Rolling Stones. But it was really cool. And I don't know why they put a picture of Tina Turner on the back from Live Aid. She performed that historic performance with Tina Turner. I'm not sure why she's on there, but she did admit to teaching Mick how to dance. She was doing that, So maybe just somebody, I think this is might even be from Japan or something like that. Let me see if I can open up the box. Yeah, there it is. There's the label. And I believe there's also a CD audio recording of this as well from the first night, recorded live at Tokyo Dome in Tokyo. And he does, mostly things from his first 2 solo albums. He does like Throwaway, and he does Just Another Night. From his first solo album, he does Harlem Shuffle from the Rolling Stones, Dirty Work, Miss You, Honky Tonk Woman. So he throws in, Gimme Shelter, Start Me Up. He throws in some Stone songs as well. There's Jumping Jack Flash, Brown Sugar, It's Only Rock and Roll. I think he did more Stone stuff than he did his own solo music here. Honky Tonk Woman, Satisfaction. So yeah, it was a pro shot. It's really well recorded. It might have been for a Japanese TV show or something like that. But if you ever get a chance to see it, I think they have it on the internet. It covers his first two solo albums. Now, let's see. I'm trying to stay in order as much as I possibly can. And Mick Jagger did some more solo stuff even after the Rolling Stones got together in 1989 to do Steel Wheels and the Steel Wheels tour. In the 90s, Mick and Keith ended up doing more solo stuff. This one I think you see around a lot. I don't know. When I like an album, I just can't see it sitting there, on the shelf. This is so demeaning, like $2.99. I mean, come on. I mean, it's a cool album. I really like the song "Don't Tear Me Up." Performed that on Saturday Night Live in the early 90s. Look, I even got a cassette version of it. I started out with the cassette, and then I graduated to CDs. It's an interesting album. They made a lot of copies of them, and they just, this is what the label looks like. And it's just unfortunately not going for that much money, but it's got a lot of sentimental values. So, and then there was the concerts that he did to support that album. And again, the album was called Wandering Spirit, Mick Jagger. And there's a couple songs on it that are, I think, this is one of my favorite Mick Jagger albums. I really like that one. And this is the supporting tour. This one he did in New York. And it's at Webster Hall. So it's not Madison Square Garden. Again, it reminds me, like he said when he came to Pittsburgh, I posted this. That's really cool. So are you from Pittsburgh, Carmela? And anyway, this album, here's some of the it's probably in reverse. It's hard to tell. I'll just throw some. Ripped This Joint. He does some Rolling Stone songs. He does, of course, my favorite song from Wandering Spirit, Don't Tear Me Up. Sweet Thing, that's a good one too. And I think he focuses more on his solo stuff here. He does Have You Seen Your Mother Standing in the Shadow? Closes with that. I mean, that's an interesting song to close with. And he does Live With Me. That's from Let It Bleed. Mick Jagger, live in New York, 1993. This was probably his last solo tour. I think he and Keith, kind of got it together that they were going to just stick to the Rolling Stones. And, I know there was another album or so after this, after Wandering Spirit. That album was called, let me see if I can pull it up here, Goddess in the Doorway. Here's a couple of the, here it is, Goddess in the Doorway. This one, I really, to tell you the truth, I haven't really listened to it that much. I think Keith Richards spoiled it for me because he nicknamed this album Dog Doo-Doo in the Doorway or something like that. Something very infantile. They were kind of still feuding in the 90s. And this was going to be his last or most current, I would say. You never say never. He might do another album. It's funny. This one is a mirror image, so you could probably read the label somewhat. I'm not sure. But Mick everyone. Ronnie Wood did a lot of cool solo albums, but he seemed like he supported Ronnie Wood's albums more than he did Mick Jagger for some reason. Anyway, this is the interview disc. So a whole series of Mick Jagger albums here. And I'm just going to show you a few more things that I pulled out. This one is the concert for New York. I consider it a Mick Jagger solo performance because it's just him and Keith Richards. It's not the Stones. Oh, I'm sorry. We lost audio. I believe somebody was calling me. I'm using my phone. That's Command Central. I'll go back if I have to, but I don't think it was that important. I was just showing you my things from Mick Jagger's God Gave Me Everything. That was the single from the album and the interview disc. But what I was saying earlier was concert for New York City is I consider somewhat of a solo Mick Jagger performance. He was with Keith Richards and he did two songs. One of them, Miss You, and the other one, Salt of the Earth. And Salt of the Earth featured nice gritty vocals from Keith Richards as well. I love the way they harmonize together. We are going to look at a few more of these recordings, and these are concert recordings. This is from, according to the way they bill this, the best concert ever. These are the DVDs, and this is the CDs, the 25th anniversary of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And the song that featured Mick Jagger, Gimme Shelter, he performed that one. Let me see if I can give you a little background on it. Yeah, he was with Fergie and Will I Am. And I think he also joined up with U2 a little bit also. It was an interesting performance. You get to see a lot of cool artists on here, Jeff Beck and Paul Simon and Simon and Garfunkel and Crosby, Stills and Nash, Bonnie Raitt, James Taylor, U2, Billy Joel, John Fogerty. I mean, this is like Sting, Buddy Guy, Billy Gibbons, Patti Smith, Bruce Springsteen. You got Ozzy Osbourne, all Metallica, Lou Reed. You got all the heavy hitters on this concert for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the 25th anniversary. So that's pretty cool. I know there's some, if you get the series, you'll probably find some more performances of Mick Jagger, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame performances, induction awards. So anyway, you're probably saying that's probably it, right? What could possibly be next? I mean, and I don't know if you've seen this one. This one's called Super Heavy, released in 2011, and it's kind of Mick Jagger joins somewhat of a hip hop rock band, and Mick melts your heart. He's a great performer, one of the best frontmen in rock and roll. And maybe that's why he went solo, because, like the Beatles were more of a group thing, they didn't have a front man. Mick is the front man. And I still say this, even though he's 79 years old, on the verge of 80, if you can find me a more energetic front man performing now, I don't care what age, if you can find a more energetic and charismatic front man, let me know, because I haven't seen it. I've been to a lot of shows. He is amazing, really. And I love the dancing too. That's a very important part of it, all the cool dance moves. And now we know that he was inspired by James Brown. And oh, thank you, Carmela. James Brown, Tina Turner really influenced him. He was actually, Mick Jagger was doing the moonwalk. Remember that? Right around, he learned that from James Brown, and then of course Michael Jackson had a lot of fame with the moonwalk. He tried to coin it, pretend that he created it. He embellished it. He did a variation on a theme, but Mick was doing the moonwalk, back in the 60s, and he got that from James Brown. All right. So this is super heavy. This is the deluxe version. If you buy it online, I would make sure you get the one with the bonus tracks. This one has four extra bonus tracks, because you don't want to buy this again and say, "Oh, I missed four of the songs." It's like missing 25% of your album. So get the one with the bonus tracks. I know Amazon sells it, and it's pretty reasonable. I got it for under $10. Just go for the deluxe. Billy Joel impersonate. Yeah, Mick Jagger. He did that, I think, with Stevie Nicks when he was here in Los Angeles at the Kia Forum. He did a pretty good impersonation of Mick. You wouldn't think, but if you check my Starlight Music channel, I posted a little, highlight from that performance. But yeah, there is some other footages of him and other concerts doing it as well. So I think it's part of his show now. Billy Joel does Mick Jagger, But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this romp through my collection. This took me, like I said, I've been thinking about doing this for a couple of months now, and finally today was the day I got to do it. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you, Carmela, for sharing the link. I'm sure we'll get some more viewers once it goes into streaming, And if you have any other ideas for artists that you'd like to see from my collection, I also have a Mick Jagger book. I didn't want to bring it out because it's another type of media, But he did do some books, talking about his whole life story, and there's a lot of interesting interviews on YouTube if you want to, learn about Mick. And I hope they continue. It's the 60th year of the Rolling Stones this year, so it would be nice if they did an American tour. Hint, hint. Rod Stewart is a great suggestion. As you probably have guessed, I'm a pretty avid Rod Stewart fan. I mean, come on, I traveled halfway across the world to see him perform at the Jeff Beck tribute concert. So Rod Stewart, we could do a lot more stuff. I got a lot of rare stuff, and videos and CDs and vinyl and cassettes. So yeah, don't get me started with Rod Stewart. I think we could really spend some time, and we can even get into his Lost album. That one is going for like $200 if you find the original CD. Just check that one out, the Rod Stewart Lost album. I believe that was released in the 90s, and he does Ruby Tuesday. Yeah, so I'll try to dig up my Rod Stewart collection. It might be a little bit more straightforward because they keep everything in one or two different places. Not like my Mick Jagger stuff's all over the place, but now I know where everything is, and I hope you get a chance to go back and listen to some of these albums. They have them on YouTube. Give them a chance. I mean, when I saw Paul Stanley at a small club, I couldn't believe it. I mean, because if you want to see Kiss, you have to go to a big arena, Madison Square Gardens, or some massive arena, packed with people. But if you want to see just the lead vocalists from Kiss, you go into a small club. I did this a couple of years ago when he was with Soul Station. I was just like, wow, I can't believe it. Do people not know who Paul Stanley is? I mean, if it said Kiss, it would be lines around the block, I'm sure. But, that's what happens with these solo out artists. So I think most of them have understood the power of the group. You got to stay with the group. That's what people know, the brand. And but still, the Rolling Stones have given us quite a catalog, and we could spend you know days just talking about all the solo albums. I mean, I can't believe how many solo albums Bill Wyman put out, and Ronnie Wood, and Keith Richards. So we could definitely, I think Mick Taylor put out some solo albums as well. So yeah, we can really sink our teeth into that. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys get back to whatever you were doing. And thank you so much for watching, supporting this channel, subscribing, and sharing the links. And don't forget to keep on rocking. Bye now. Check out my shirt, guys. There it is. I got this in Las Vegas. Bye-bye.